In this battle, Gojira is helping me test the mercenary Italian swords against the Hastati. Now, the mercenary Italian swords are more expensive, but their stats are somewhat comparable. The mercenary Italian swords don't have formation attack. Their melee attack is slightly lower than the melee attack of the Hastati, and the charge bonus of Hastati 12, 10 of the mercenary Italian swords, 48 melee defense for the Hastati, and 45 for the mercenary Italian swords. Armor, health, and morale is the same. Now, the Hastati are disciplined. They do have defensive abilities against missiles, formation attack, but the mercenary Italians don't. Now, the reason why I wanted to test this is because I've seen the mercenary Italian swords used fairly well with Epirus. Not as mainline infantry, but as flanking infantry. And as infantry that supports fights with Samnites rather than infantry that goes head-on against units. Now, what I'm interested to see here is how well they do on the charge against Hastati, considering that their stats are so similar. Now, both of them cause 2 casualties on the charge with their precursors. Let's give them a good 10 seconds to see who did the better on the charge. And again, it's very similar on the charge here. The mercenary Italian swords get a slightly better engagement here, but over here the Hastati get a slightly better engagement, so it's just about dead even. So let's fast forward to see how things develop. It's still even. Now the mercenary Italian swords start to lose, and they start to lose quite rapidly. And even though the Hastati are 10%, more than 10% cheaper than the mercenary Italian swords, the mercenary Italian swords end up losing in convincing fashion against the Hastati. And of course that's a problem for Epirus, where if you send a mercenary Italian sword head-on against the Hastati, and the Hastati comes back with 55 men and 69, now you have a unit you have to deal with somehow, and you're of course limited in the amount of mercenary Italian swords that you can bring. So, in my opinion, mercenary Italian swords should be at the same price as Hastati, possibly slightly cheaper, because you can only bring 3 of them, and they are in every way a worse unit than Hastati. They have no advantages over the Hastati, and of course against the Hastati, if you want to match up low tier melee against low tier melee, the mercenary Italian swords just flat out lose. Strength and honor.